Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Celebrity Challenge, and today we have the Slumber Party. This is a 2023 uh, Disney Channel, Disney Plus original. So yeah, it was. I believe it was on the Disney Channel, and then of course Disney Plus, as it everything on the Disney Channel should eventually arrive here. And It's an hour and 23 minutes long, and it was not made for me, but I really liked it. I really, it's strange for me to say. It's a slumber party about a bunch of teenage girls, 13, 14 years old, and they're going to get together to have a sleepover on the eve of their friend's birthday. And uh, it's four very different girls who have four very different families, and two of the girls, their families are kind of merging via a wedding, which happens to be happening on the same day as their friend's birthday. She's already not a big fan of dad remarrying, but she is double angry that she is having to share that day, her birthday, with dad's wedding. Why does it have to be this way? But she's not necessarily even the main character. I'll explain, and I'm not going to give away. By the way, I'm not going to give away any major spoilers at all. I'm going to give you an idea who the characters are and kind of the structure, but I'm not going to give away the twists and turns. Just so you know, because a lot of people probably haven't watched this, and unless you were really looking forward to it or you saw a trailer for it at some point, there was a good chance you didn't even know this thing existed. Like me. Again, it's a Disney Channel movie. It's a Disney Plus original kind of thing that, why would I be watching this? This is not, again, I'm not the target audience. Things are made for target audiences. Anyway, our main character is Megan. She is played by Darby Camp, and she's got the curly red hair. She's on top there, on the top of the hedgehog. That hedgehog is important to a certain degree. We basically check in with her from the beginning, and she also kind of provides a little bit of narration for us as we get to know the people in the story. In fact, she breaks the fourth wall and totally Deadpools it and speaks to us as all chaos, everything's cutting loose just at once. In fact, she's flying through the air off of said hedgehog. Why? Why is there a hedgehog? Why is she flying through the air? Why is any of this happening? What does this have to do with the slumber party? Well, the girls, um, they're just three of them are best friends. The fourth one is kind of the new kid. She's the one joining the family through marriage, and she's kind of been forced upon the other three as part of this sleepover. She's the weird one. Not to say that any of them are completely normal, but she is ostensibly the weird one, and you'll know why, because she's weird. She's wonderfully weird, and it's whenever I say weird, it's never an insult. It's always a good thing. So she is, by the way, played by where is she? Alex Cooper Cohen. She's Veronica. The birthday girl is Anna Maria, played by Valentina Herrera, and Paige is she's kind of the scariest of the group. She's a little bit more intense than the rest. Paige is played by Emily Liu-Wang. So we got our main four characters here. There's a little sister. You see some moms and dads here and there. There's even a hypnotist, played by Titus Burress. Titus, why can't I say, what's your last name, Titus? Come on. Why do I have to scroll so far to see your name, Titus? He was on The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Come on. I should be able to see your picture, man. I feel like I'm leaving out a G or something. Veronica Rodriguez. There it is. Titus Burgess. And he's always been very big, very flamboyant. Not big in the, but he's very big, voiced. He's always kind of a unmissable character. He's he's a party guy. He basically you hire him, like you hire a clown. Well, he's a hypnotist. Somebody hired a hypnotist, and he shows up at the slumber party. And the next thing you know, the girls wake up and they have no memory of what happened the night before. Now, in any other situation, had this not been a Disney Channel thing, this would be a horror story. It would be a Dateline episode. And I'll tell you why, because as they wake up, one of them is missing an eyebrow. One of them has blood on their hands. There's also something that was written on the wall that it looks like poop. Yeah, and also one of them is missing. Does this sound familiar to you? Yes, it probably sounds familiar to you if you're my age. Did you want a PG-13, like a low PG-13 version of The Hangover? Yes. I know there's probably tons of people who've already said this, who've seen this. And maybe there are people maybe the people who made this are probably sick of hearing that comparison, but I think the structure is right there. They're not going to Vegas. They're not getting wasted. But the structure of this is exactly the same. Four friends get together, they make some odd choices, and one of them disappears, and the other three spend the rest of the movie trying to find that person, following clues all over the place. And that's the structure. That's the log line, basically, for both films, you'd think. And what we get here is them, trying to, again, they find clues along the way, and they come across a number of different characters, including the boy that Megan has a big crush on. Strangely enough, when she wakes up with one eyebrow, she is also wearing his hoodie. How is that possible? She doesn't remember anything. One of the other girls' hands are covered in blood. Why? Why? What happened? There's a little bit of a hole in that story, that just one that doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not going to go into it. It's all right. We're fine. I'm not going to dig too deeply into this. This is meant to be a very fun, very. It's more realistic, I think, in many cases when it comes to depicting teenage girls. I think, not that I spend a whole lot of time with teenage girls or at their slumber parties. It is just the fact that each of these girls are really good at what they're doing. They depict themselves not as, I don't know, how you get with a lot of the Disney Channel girls who are comedy princesses or something. It's just, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Miley Cyrus or Olivia Rodrigo or anybody else Zendaya, who's done all their, TV channel shows on Disney Channel and things like that. But this is a movie, and the way it's structured and the way it's acted is a little bit different than a TV sitcom. And they're all fantastic. They don't fall into the tropes or the cliches of, let's all just do our nails and talk about boys all night and just watch whatever, like, girly movies. Of course, we don't see what happens at the slumber party. We just see the aftermath and everything they need to do to fix things. And, well, in this, they run across Paula Pell, one of my favorite comedians. She used to be a writer for Saturday Night Live. I think she might have been the head writer. I don't recall. It's a detail I can't retain, but she plays the principal, and she just steamrolls through her very short appearance in the film. And yeah, the girls end up in a place, just, again, like, just like The Hangover, they run into a number of different characters that they butt heads with, or there's public humiliation involved at certain points, and they have to come to terms with their friendship, how they deal with this, how they also let this new girl in to their group, who also, by the way, doesn't care. I mean, she does care, but in a sense, she's in the group whether they like it or not. She's also homeschooled, which is just a great little twist, because when they end up at a high school, it's like a fantasy land to her. Like, it's like she's gone to Disneyland. She has no, this is another world. The only thing she knows about high school is from watching High School Musical. Yes. Yes. Is there an attempt to sing a song from High School Musical? Maybe. There's a somebody get their little Vanessa Hudgens moment. Maybe. But yeah, it's not a musical, by the way. I'm just letting you know it's not a musical. But I think it avoids mostly all the normal tropes you would think about a Disney slumber party movie. It's not for kids. I mean, it's not for little kids. The little kids will get a kick out of it. There's plenty of physical comedy and things like that. But there's even a fart joke. There's some stuff in here that you would expect to see in The Hangover, but with teenage girls. Nothing R-rated at all. But they're teenage girls. They're not 10. They're not 8. It's some stuff that you would, I think, you know what? I don't know. Teenage girls out there, tell me if you've had a slumber party experience like this. Do we find out what happened at the slumber party? Yeah, that's kind of a thing we gotta find out at some point. But how we find out, well, I'm not going to spoil how we find out how that happens. But it's just, for me, it was just good fun. I was actually laughing out loud, probably much to my neighbor's discontent. It's late. I'm watching this very early in the morning, and yeah. So so yeah, if you're a teenage girl, if you're not, preferably if you're a teenager, you'll get a kick out of this. And it's there's a cute boy who does that to his hair a lot. And so yeah, I think teenagers will get a kick out of this. And if you're an adult, it's not, by the way, it's not the type of humor where they talk down. Yes, adults wrote this. There's a tiny sequence in this, and I'm not going to give away, that just says, people who are much older than teenagers wrote this. Yeah, there's just a moment that teenagers would not be recreating. And I'm talking about the scene. There's a scene, not this scene, but a scene on the hedgehog that, yeah. It's somebody 40 years older than these teenagers would have written, maybe 30 years older. Their parents would have written the joke, the scene in this film, and teenagers would not have ever done this, I don't think. No, I don't think so. Yeah. But yeah, there's it's a kind of thing that begs for a little bit of a sequel, just to revisit with these girls. But you get the feeling that if they haven't made it by now, it's 2023. These girls are growing up fast, and that's why you can't make a ton of stuff, especially on the Disney Channel, that focuses around kids, because they age, and it shows. It would be great to see some of these characters again, just doing something. I really like the Veronica character, because, again, she is the ultimate weirdo, and she's unashamed of her weirdness. She is the Zach Galifianakis of this movie. That is nothing to be ashamed of. She is, each of these girls are fantastic, but she's kind of the breakout. Just, you'll like watching anything she does, because she's just that wacky. And so, yeah, it's hard to balance these kind of things. They're all lovely young women, and they're also doing comedy. That's a talent that not a whole lot of kid actors really have, just out of the gate. So it feels, I think, how they act, I think it feels natural, and it's not, I am now acting like a teenage girl. This is how I feel, and emotions and things and thoughts, and I am a girl. There's none of that. It just feels real. So I'm looking at this on IMDb, and it doesn't have as good of a rating as I think it would have. And part of me thinks it's there's like, people might have just, kind of slam negative rated this thing for certain reasons, which I'm not going to get into and has nothing to do with the story of the film, but people are just awful. So don't look at what somebody might have written or rated this. It's better than what other people say. It's at least on IMDb. I didn't read reviews. I just saw the rating and I was like, this is way too low. This is way too low. To me, this feels like at least an 8 out of 10. I really liked it. I would watch it again. If I knew somebody was like, you know what, let's watch that movie, I would watch it because the performances are dead on. And it's a good bunch of little cameos. And Titus Burgess is always fantastic. And Paula Bell. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 18. Back down to the beginning again. Didn't we just have 17? No, we didn't. No. Ooh, here we go. We're back in the documentary phase here, but this is a little bit different. I don't even know if this is even a Disney or a National Geographic thing. It might be a History Channel thing. I am not sure. But it's more than likely National Geographic. I don't know. We're going to at least, I think it's a series too. We'll watch at least one episode and I'll come back here and talk about it when we see Ancient Aliens. Yeah, Ancient Aliens. We're going to do some conspiracy theories. Why not? Ancient Aliens is what we're watching next in the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.